Hello friends and welcome back into the mat. Thank you guys so much for being here today and joining me back on my beading mat for some beady inspiration. We are going to get into making a really pretty beaded leather bracelet today. And it's not even really that it's 2 strands or 3 strands. It's actually going to be more like 4 strands of leather. And this is a really fun design I came up with to use some sparkly beads, have a holiday themed bracelet, but maybe tone it down because maybe you're not going to have such a sparkly outfit on for maybe your holiday festivities and your holiday affairs. So this is just exactly what I was thinking, to do something a little bit different, to just kind of tone it down a little bit with this metallic leather I'm going to use. So this ought to be fun, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But first things first, happy Friday Frolic Funday to each and every one of you. Happy Friday, my friends. Snaps, we made it through another week. Yay for us. And we are going to get into a wonderful weekend, I hope, right? Now, many of us work on the weekend. I know, I do. Sometimes, I try not to, but sometimes unavoidable. Nevertheless, whether we're in work or not, let's have a great weekend, my friends. With that, let's talk about Friendmas and a little housekeeping before we jump into our project. So, if you would like to enter what I call my Friendmas Gratitude Giveaway, I do this, by the way, guys, every year right in front of the holidays. All you have to do is be a subscriber, like the video, and then put your answer to a question or two that I'm going to ask you sometime during the video today in the comment section of this video. And because it's the holiday time, friends, and everybody's hectic and busy and crazy and shopping and traveling and all the things, working overtime and all the things that we're doing, we're going to let this video run and get everybody an opportunity to enter Friendmas giveaway through the whole weekend. So we are not going to pick a winner until Monday. Why don't we get into making a beautiful bracelet utilizing most of the makings from my sleigh ride. Now, friends, I'm going to pull things over here and let me get everything off my tray and tell you. Guys, we can absolutely use any beads, and you can use any leather or cording for a project like this. I've got all my charms too. However, always ensure that the leather that you're going to choose or the cording will fit through your beads, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoy this project and find a little beady inspiration. So, friends, so this is going to be our closure. It's a toggle, right? So that's a triple, allows for a triple strand, okay? Or more. Sometimes you can fit 2 wires or cords on each loop. Nevertheless, you will need a multi-strand connector, essentially, or a multi-strand closure, okay? So that's what I'm using today. Its partner is in here somewhere. Not sure where. And I have just a bunch of beads. Where are you? Let me find you. There you are. So I can show you the full thing. If you don't have anything like this and want to pick something like this up from any craft store or beading supply store, that's what my toggle looks like. Okay? You can also use a connector that has multiple holes and then use a jump ring to attach any type of a toggle or magnetic, a lobster, any clasp, okay? And then beads, same thing, friends. You can use any beads. So use any cording, friends. I wanted to use the leather because this beautiful red metallic just speaks to me today. On this white jade, I just love it. So this is a 0.5 millimeter genuine Indian leather. It is in a metallic, or it's like Moroccan red or something like that. I do have some of this in my store if you want to pick some up. But you can use any cording, again. And all I've done so far, friends, is I've just cut around a 12, 13 inch piece. And on the outside, I have put 1 overhand knot. And I just did a double overhand knot. Now we are going to do a lark's head with 2 strands through the center. And then we'll do the same thing here over on the other side. So let me get my beads dumped out and we'll start beading up this beauty. So on my multi-strand connector, or my toggle here, I'm going to put this leather through the outer loop here, and we're just gonna do 2 regular overhand knots. Okay, and I'm doing that same thing on both of the outer strands with 1 singular piece of leather. So we'll just do a couple overhand knots here and pull those tight. Okay, so there's that. Now, this is some 0.5 millimeters, so we do not want to tug it too tight. And there's my second knot. And let me just get that pulled. Okay, and now I am going to go ahead and cut that. And we'll go about right there and make sure that's good. Now you can put a piece of glue here or you can singe it. It's your choice, okay? And now in the center, okay, that center one, I'm gonna grab this piece of leather that I cut, which is probably about a 15-inch piece, and I'm gonna fold it in half to do a lark's head. So I'm going to go ahead and marry up the ends, okay? And I am going to put my other strands out of my way and put this right through the center loop here on my toggle. So I'm gonna go up through the loop, and then I'm gonna pull that, and now I am going to grab the folded loop right here, and I'm put my fingers like this. I'm gonna grab the tails, pull them through the loop, and then we'll go ahead and just pull that up and just make a pretty little lark's head knot right there in the center. So this is what I have. Okay, now what we're gonna do is let these outer guys hang out, and we're gonna be just focusing on beading in the center, the 2 center strands. Okay, and so I'm just gonna come up, I'm gonna kind of lay these out of my way, and I am gonna come up with any pattern. Now I'm gonna grab these small 4mm spacers to start. I'm gonna put 1 down each, 1 strand, and 2 down the other strand. And any spacer beads you have will work. To start it out, that's what I'm gonna do there. And that's just to kind of keep everything kind of nice and snug there. But also, guys, we've got this beautiful leather and we want it to show through. So we don't really need to be too worried about the negative space or any gaps here, okay? Because that's the intention of this beautiful leather, is really to show through, okay? Ready? Okay, so that's 5mm, guys. 0.5 millimeter, not 5, 0.5. That goes down that window bead, both of those strands. But let me see if I like it. I might not. So we could do something like that. We could also crisscross in opposite directions our cording right here if we wanted to do like a ladder type of a shape. That's pretty. That's really pretty. But you know, I think I might just want to bead all the way down. So lots of options, friends. Lots of design options here. Okay, guys, I'm just going to continue to play with my beads here and figure out my pattern. And let's get to Friendmas, shall we? And let me ask you guys, let me put my beads out of the way over here. I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to give you 2 question options here. So this is, warning, how we enter my Friendmas giveaway. Put your answer in the comments and don't forget to like the video, and you must be a subscriber. And by the way, guys, all the details will be in the bottom of the video, in the description below. All the things that YouTube requires me to put will be in the video, all the details. But it's just really easy, guys. You just have to be a subscriber, like the video, and then put your answer in the comment section. So I'm going to give you the option of 2 questions to answer because I'm really interested to know. Because inquiring minds want to know, to tell you the truth. That's really what it is. What jewelry making technique challenges you the most? That is the first question, friends. What jewelry technique challenges you the most? I would love to know. I'll give you guys my answer well, on Monday. I'll give you guys my answer to that on Monday when we pull a winner. Um, I already know my answer. But I just would really love to hear from all of you. Um, what challenges you, if any? Does any particular jewelry technique challenge you? Like, for example, um, is it tying knots, surgeon's knots? Is it wire work? Is it flush cutting? Is it finishings? Is it any particular design technique like bangles or making multi-strands or gosh, guys, I mean, just on and on. You get the drift, right? You know what I'm saying? Is it turning your loops the right way? Wire wrapping? It could be anything. Making a Y style, making a ladder style, making a goddess style. Really, guys, there is nothing I'd love more than to truly just know from all of you what technique, if any, in jewelry making challenges you the most. Love to know. So as you guys can tell, I am just playing with my beads until I get this pattern looking the way that I want it to look. It's just really what this is, what's happening over here. That's just pretty much what's happening. Okay, so yeah, I'm just playing with my beads, and you'll find in a technique like this, or any for that matter, probably the same thing. You know, sometimes we don't know what things are going to look like until we put the beads on our bead stringing material, and then when we see it, we have to change it around because we don't happen to prefer that particular way that it's looking, and that's what just happened here. So as I continue my design quest here, and before I fast forward, and then we'll finish this up together, but I will fast forward and spare you guys by speeding you guys up my designing here, and fiddling and playing with my beads, but I will give you the technique to play with and put in your arsenal. So here is another question I would love to know the answer to, if you don't happen to have an answer to that first question, so that you guys can get entered in the Friendmas Giveaway. Second question is, what materials do you find to be the most challenging to work with? There you go. What challenges you in materials the most, friends? I would love to know the answer to that. I know my answer. So it's really any materials. Like, do you find any particular material more challenging than another? Like, maybe it's wire, maybe it's cording, maybe it's leather, maybe it's monofilament, maybe it's thread, silk. It could be whatever it is, guys. I'm just so curious from all of you beaters, hobbyists, all of you out there, what materials challenge you the most to work with? Or the other question, which is, what jewelry making technique challenges you the most, if any? Now, if you do not have an answer to either of those questions, here's the thing. Just simply put something in the comments that is related to Beadmas, because you might be like, well, actually, I don't have any challenges. I'm good. I'm good. I don't have any challenges where my materials and my techniques are concerned. I'm just golden. That's great, and that might be the case. Then simply, I would just then love to know, what was your favorite project in Beadmas then? That's it. That's the magic right there. What was then your favorite project in Beadmas that you enjoyed so much that you did it yourself? Because that was the whole point, was really and truly to inspire you guys. Okay, friends. So either of those, answer in the comment section. Check the description box for all the fine print. Because, that's what we have to do. And let me fast forward and speed up here. It'll just be a minute for you. Again, do any pattern. What I've decided to do in the center is put 2 of those large frosted beads down both the wires, like I was showing you a minute ago. And then I just kind of mirrored the patterns from here over here. And this is what this looks like. I have added a bead stopper to this strand. And now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to grab my other part of my toggle, and I'm going to tie this off, okay, on at like as a regular overhand knot. Okay, we can do, there's lots of different things we can do, but I'm going to do these one at a time. And what I'm going to do is just do an overhand knot. So this might get a little bit fidgety, okay, but we'll do it one at a time and we'll get it. So because this is really thin gauge, or thin millimeter, excuse me, leather, I do not need to turn it like this. I can lay it straight like this to tie it off. Okay, because it's got plenty of fluidity and movement in it. Okay, so I'm just really wanting to make sure that I just don't have a lot of major gaps. You can see a beautiful peak of that metallic wire throughout the entire project. It's really, really beautiful. So I'm just gonna kind of pull everything down, and then I'm going to tie these off, as I just said, one at a time. Okay, and I'm just going to do an overhand knot, and we'll secure that there. Okay, and then I will tie that again. So 2 overhand knots here, and we'll push that right down. Excuse me, guys. And tighten that up really well. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and trim. And that knot did not land down as far as I wanted it to. That should be okay. That should be alright. I'll probably put a little bit of glue there. Okay, let me just go ahead and trim that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my bead stopper off here, and I am going to kind of pull everything together here. And I'm going to take that end, and same thing, I am going to go right through that same center loop there. Okay, and we will pull this up, and then we'll do an overhand knot. This is where it gets just a wee bit fidgety. So we've got 2 pieces of 0.5 millimeter going through that center loop, and then we'll just go ahead and again just kind of pull everything down, let everything come together, and we'll just wiggle that knot into place. Okay, it's regular overhand knot. Okay, and we'll do it again. So we'll tie this one and try to get it to land right on top of the previous knot. Sorry if my fingers are in the way, guys. Trying to guide that knot into place. Perfect. Okay, and then I'll go ahead, pull on that, make sure that's nice and snug there together. Looks to be. Okay, and same thing, I'll just go ahead and flush cut that. Now, you can again do one of 2 things. You can singe that, or you can glue it. I am going to singe, okay? I'm going to end up singeing, such as, let me pull this way up and show you, I did on this one here. Okay, can you see right there? on the end of my cord, that little black spot. So you can, I'm probably going to singe in a little bit. I won't do it on camera, I'll do it off camera, but you can also put a dab of glue. Some GS Hypo, E6000, some super glue, whatever you want, okay? And so now, essentially, this is what we have. The last two things I want to do is put my beautiful charm on. I'm going to grab a jump ring for that. We'll put that on last. But what are we going to do with these two side cords? Well, anything we want. Anything we want, guys. So there are several things that you can do here. You can take and weave each outer strand through the strand directly next to it and kind of twirl it around like this. So all I'm doing is just feeding it underneath this. I'm just looking at this bracelet that's facing towards me, the closest to me, and I'm just going round and round. And I can do this to make a nice, beautiful embellishment, like on the outside. Almost gonna make it look like a little bit of a candy cane situation here. Okay, so we can do that. The other thing we can do is, let me flip this back around the right way. Oh look, I just grabbed the opposite one. Okay, let's unwind that. I grabbed the one that was furthest away from it, right, not right next to it. But the other thing that we can do is we can take both cords, okay, and let's make sure that both cords are laying on their respective sides, okay? We can pull them down below the bracelet and pull both of them up through the center of the bracelet, keeping the strands together, okay? This is another really cool thing you can do. What's gonna do is just about essentially, wait a minute, why is that flipped around? Let me get it back straight. Okay, there we go. Okay, now it's back straight again. Sorry, I had them not straight. Okay, so my strands are here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab both of the cords and pull them up through the center to the top, keeping them together. And we can wind this leather around the entire outside of the bracelet, right? Okay, so that's what that might look like, okay? And then once we get to kind of like the middle here, we can just come under with the cording, let it lay in between both of those beautiful larger beads there, and then I would come in between the loops of these two strands and then continue to do the same thing, all while keeping both my strands together. Kind of just wind it around the entire bracelet on the outside. And that's the kind of look you might get with something like that. It's really beautiful when you're using this really thin leather. There's 1,000,001 things we can do here. Let me get this back organized. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I am going to independently take each side and put it on the strand next to it. Okay, so here's what I have, right? So I've got this outer strand, so I'm gonna come underneath, and I'm just focusing on this strand here, and I'm just gonna start to wind it around. Okay, by the way, guys, another thing you can do, I'm sorry, let me unwind that. Another thing you can do is not wind them at all. You can just lay them down the sides, let them be, and this is a beautiful look. It's just, it looks really pretty, and then we can tie overhand knots just with the leather right there. And that's kind of look you would have. So this is also a really pretty look. So what I'm gonna do, like I said, let me get one out of the way. I'm gonna focus on the right side here. I'm just gonna grab that strand, pull it through, and just kind of wind it around a little bit until it looks the way I want it to look. So I think I'm gonna do like 3 times there. And kind of gonna put my cord and place it where I want it to be. Now I'm coming to the center. Okay, and I'm gonna go underneath here in the center and come back up. And then I'm gonna come through the loop and do the same thing. I think I just did 3 times. So there is 1, 2, and 3. And out, that one comes here. I'm just gonna go back and take a look at it. Does it look the way do I want any more twirlies? What am I going for here? I like that a whole lot. So now what I'm going to do is right here on this end, because I came out, can you tell my cord came out on the top of my bead? What I'm gonna do is come from underneath that outer loop to tie my overhand knot. So I'm gonna go under, through that loop, and let it come up, right? And then now I am going to tie a regular overhand knot right here, just like we've been doing. Okay, and can lay it out to make sure. What just happened? Flipped the wrong way. Okay, back to where you're supposed to be. Okay. You on the right side? Yes. Okay. So there we go. So does it look the way I want it to look? Yes. And then, does it bend nicely before you tighten that leather up too much? You want to check that. And we'll just do another quick overhand knot here. And I'll go on the other side and repeat this. Same thing. Lots of fun you can have with the leather in the holiday season and make beautiful sparkly things utilizing all kind of materials, friends. So I thought this would be fun, something different. But notice in this particular side, my leather is stopped underneath. So now I don't want to come underneath because it will just unwind all this. What I want to do is go over. So I'm going to go over that and through that loop towards my mat. Okay. And then that'll stay in place. And now I will go and make an overhand knot here and get that all tidy. Okay, guys, let me pull you up. Oops, other way, Jen. And let's try this beauty on and see what it looks like. Let me get my cuddle duds out of the way. I hope you guys will enter the Friendmas Giveaway. We are going to have an awesome weekend. I wish you guys all a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And we will see you back on Monday to pick a winner. If I can get this on, why are you fussing? I don't know. Why are you fussing? There should be no issues here. What's your issue? I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's get this squared away right now before we finish, because that was just much too difficult on the struggle bus to even imagine fussing with. You guys been around, you know me. I do not fuss. I don't like to fuss with my closures. My bracelets in particular, which are my favorites. But he is not. It might be I need to fuss with my knots a little, guys. I think that might be what it is. No. Okay, it's me and my nails. Okay, we're good. We're good, guys. We're good. So that's what that looks like. And it's just, what a different look, right? But a fun thing for the holiday season, I feel. And guys, this could be really cool for like New Year's too. And also, if you're looking to spend a little time and play with your beads for a beautiful gift for someone in your life that you really know loves jade, because it's such a beautiful, pure gemstone, this would be make a fantastic gift under the tree for somebody who loves this style of jewelry. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, my friends, and we will see you in the next one. Be well, my friends.